Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So we're back.
We're back. Matchless gifts from a different angle. So we've got some nice pictures here. I think you can at least see these ones. But this is Prabhupada in Tompkins Square Park, and we will be doing some readings in Tompkins Square Park.
Not at the moment because it's so freezing, sorry.
It is literally frozen there.
But we will.
Prabhupada underneath the Hare Krishna tree, and this one over here, Prabhupada walking down probably 22nd Avenue.
Yeah, it is 20.
I don't know if you can see this one, but it's out back.
Out the courtyard where Prabhupada went to his apartment.
Yeah, which was right behind here, the loft. Okay, so where are we picking up from?
Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 5.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
My dear Dhruva, come forward. May the Lord always grace you with good fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond our sensory perception, is the supersoul of all living entities, and thus all entities are one without distinction. Begin therefore to render service unto the transcendental form of the Lord, who is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. Purport. Here the word vigraham, having specific form, is very significant, for it indicates that the Absolute Truth is ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is explained in the Brahma Samhita, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He has form, but his form is different from any kind of material form. The living entities are the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Form. As such, they are not different from the Supreme Form, but at the same time they are not equal to the Supreme Form. Dhruva Maharaj is advised herewith to render service unto the Supreme Form. This will include service to other individual forms. For example, a tree has a form, and when water is poured on the root of the tree, the other forms, the leaves, twigs, flowers and fruits, are automatically watered. The Mayavadi conception that because the Absolute Truth is everything, he must be formless is rejected here. Rather, it is confirmed that the Absolute Truth has form, and yet he is all-pervading. Nothing is independent of him. So the Supreme Lord has form. That's it. It's an important point, considering so many people grapple with that idea in itself, more so than if there is a God, more so than that. Because people accept more so that there's a God, and then they pray in a very what's that word, ethereal, I believe in a higher power. I believe I believe in a higher power. I believe in a supreme nature. These are the words that are used, and it's easier to accept that there is a God, but it's harder, I think, for a lot of people to accept that God has a form, that is a person, kind of like, and that too, what form, what person, what colour, what type, is he a man, is he a woman, it's like, so, it's interesting. So that's what I took away from it, that just the key point being that the Supreme Lord has a form, a bodily form, that is.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Prabhupada says, Mayavad conception is that the Absolute Truth is everything, so therefore he must be formless. Yeah, because he's everything, or in everything, or is the source of everything, then certainly he can't have a form. Okay, I think it's powerful. Okay, text number 6. Engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only he can deliver us from this entanglement of materialistic existence. Although the Lord is attached to his material potency, he is aloof from her activities. Everything in this material world is happening by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. In continuation of the previous verse, it is specifically mentioned here that Dhruva Maharaj should engage himself in devotional service. Devotional service cannot be rendered to the impersonal Brahman feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whenever the word bhajasva appears, meaning engage yourself in devotional service, there must be the servant, service, and the served. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is served. The mode of activities to please Him is called service, and one who renders such service is called the servant. Yeah, so in Bhakti there's three aspects. There's the Bhakta, there's Bhagavan, and then there's the Bhakti. So same. Another significant feature in this verse is that only the Lord and no one else is to be served. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Mam ekam sharanam braja. There is no need to serve the demigods who are just like the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord is served, the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord are automatically served. There is no need of separate service. As stated in the Gita 12:7, Tesham aham samudarta mrityu samsara sagarat. This means that the Lord, in order to show specific favor to the devotee, directs the devotee from within in such a way that ultimately he is delivered from the entanglement of material existence. No one but the Supreme Lord can help the living entity be delivered from the entanglement of this material world. I'm going to stop there. You can read the rest of it. But let me just comment, because it's all just one paragraph. So, it seems here that basically what's being implied or encouraged is that Dhruva Maharaj should be engaged in devotional service. Mam ekam sharanam braja. There is no need to serve anyone else. Just eka, take shelter of me alone. That's it. And so, yeah, that's the idea. There's the servant, there's the served or Bhagavan, and then there's the service. I like that.
Okay.
Continue.
The material energy is a manifestation of one of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's varieties of potencies. Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Shruthyati. This material energy is one of the Lord's potencies, as much as heat and light are potencies of fire. The material energy is not different from the Supreme Godhead, but at the same time he has nothing to do with the material energy. The living entity, who is the marginal energy, is entrapped by the material energy on the basis of his desire to lord it over the material world. The Lord is aloof from this, but when the same living entity engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he becomes attached to this service. This situation is called yuktam. For devotees, the Lord is present even in the material energy. This is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Material energy acts in the three modes of material qualities which produce the action and reaction of material existence. Those who are not devotees become involved in such activities, whereas devotees who are dovetailed with the Supreme Personality of Godhead are freed from such action and reaction of the material energy. The Lord is therefore described herewith as Bhava Chidam, one who can give deliverance from the entanglement of material existence. So many potencies, material energies, pretty much the wave that we all ride, sometimes falling in that ocean, and then all we do is get back up and ride it again. And then Prabhupada ends the purport by saying that it's actually Krishna And service or Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says, devotees were dovetailed with the Supreme Lord, so focused on that on Krishna, then he's the only one that can deliver us from those waves, as it were, or the entanglement of material existence. It's interesting because like we did some kind of some Pujari, we did Pujari service today for the deity here
Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar and Gaur Chandra
at the Bhakti Center here in New York, which is just on the back of matchless gifts. Literally, they're back to back matchless gifts. And so it is interesting because we haven't done it for a while, and so you feel that lightness or upliftment that comes from doing some service, and some especially deity service, but any service, I mean just deity service. So I was just thinking, and it must be that's that connecting, that's that someone pulling you out for a while anyway, pulling you out from the waves, from being constantly dunked underwater, as it were, in the ocean, the material ocean, and for a while you're like, got some air, you're like, oh God, that's nice, isn't it? And then, it's up to you to continue breathing or just go back under, really, and be like, anyway, it's true, it's so easily done, isn't it? So easily done to just be like, whatever. And we owe that all to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Actually.
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know who Krishna is.
No, I'd know who he is, but I wouldn't know who he was.
You can figure that one out in your own time. I got it. I'll see if you did. Okay, so we'll read one more. My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanapad, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. Let's see. Nabi Padayor. Nabi Padayor. Let me see if I can find it. Nabi, whose navel, Padayo, his lotus, at his lotus feet. No. Anyway, trying to find the Sanskrit, please forgive me. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. So now Kuvera is about to offer him a benediction after he just wiped out like most all of the yakshas. Incredible. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj, the son of King Uttanapad, was already known throughout the universe as a great devotee of the Lord, constantly thinking of his lotus feet. Such a pure, uncontaminated devotee of the Lord is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. He does not have to worship the demigods separately for such benedictions. Kuvera is the treasurer of the demigods, and he is personally offering whatever benediction Dhruva Maharaj would like to have from him. Srila Bilva Mangala Thakur stated, therefore, that for persons who engage in the devotional service of the Lord, all material benedictions wait like maid servants. Mukti Devi is just waiting at the door of the devotee to offer liberation, or more than that, at any time. To be a devotee is therefore an exalted position. Simply by rendering transcendental loving service under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can have all the benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. Lord Kuvera said to Dhruva Maharaj that he had heard that Dhruva was always in samadhi, or thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. In other words, he knew that for Dhruva Maharaj there was nothing desirable within the three material worlds. He knew that Dhruva would ask for nothing but to remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord constantly. Interesting. As I was reading towards the end, I was thinking, okay, did Kuvera offer him a benediction because he knew he wouldn't ask for anything? It's like if you know someone's a real renunciant, and you say, look, would you like a big feast? I'd happily cook you a big feast,
Oh, no.
No,
backfire.
No, I won't have. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Well, I did offer, like that. But I don't think that's kind of what's meant here. I like this. To be a devotee is therefore an exalted position. Simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of God, one can have all benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. So, Vaishnav Seva, serving a devotee, devotee care, looking after devotees, is such an important service that by serving a devotee, by looking after a devotee, we see here that all the benedictions of the world can become offered without any separate endeavor, just by serving Krishna's devotee, pure devotee, like that. Very powerful. Yeah, so, okay. Anyway, should we call it quits? Because my feet are freezing. Sorry, it's so cold, but I think we're going to stop here.
Okay.
Because I think just to make sure that I still have feet for the next reading, we're going to stop.
All right.
Thank you all very much for tuning in. Matchless Gifts Ki Jai, 26th Avenue Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON New York Bhakti Center, Ki Jai, Ki Jai, Haribol.